When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Are y'all catching the Freudian slip? At minimum, Turtle Boy subconsciously knows FKR is unable to confront their personal shortcomings. However, the point he was trying to make, y'all should pay attention to, FKR. When people show you who they are, you should eliminate the nasty ones. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
One of the worst losses, other than the physical losses of this nightmare, has been the loss of my reputation. And I feel like I have it back in spades because of the people in this room that embrace me despite hearing horrible things, untrue and embarrassing things about me that were never meant to see the light of day. And you don't care.
Your reputation is the worst thing you've lost. Huh. So, not John then.
It's when she says she's fought for John O'Keefe, she's fought for her own freedom and getting back her name.
And the loss of my reputation. And I feel like I have it back in spades because of the people in this room that embrace me despite hearing horrible things, untrue and embarrassing things about me that were never meant to see the light of day.
Embarrassing, untrue things about me, you say? How can they simultaneously be untrue and embarrassing or secret?
Horrible things, untrue and embarrassing things about me that were never meant to see the light of day.
That were never meant to see the light of day. But isn't it you that continually says sunlight is the best disinfectant?
And sunlight is the best disinfectant. That's been our mantra for 3 years.
Oh, look at there. It is. It's your mantra. So sunlight is the best disinfectant. But what? Wait, what? Not when it pertains to your overflowing rooms of secrets?
Because of the people in this room that embrace me despite hearing horrible things, untrue and embarrassing things about me that were never meant to see the light of day. And you don't care.
Yeah, the fact that FKR doesn't care about who you are as a human being is pretty much the entire problem. Because you see, FKR, what Karen did to John, it was a rage murder. It was a domestic violence breakup rage murder. And y'all have blinders on because she's a petite, arguably attractive, professionally successful woman. But think about this. If Karen's name were Ken, how quickly would you have convicted him? So again, a domestic violence breakup rage murder. And you, Killer Karen, you have a pattern.
There's a pattern that emerges in Philip Spector's history, and it's a pattern that's indelibly etched into his history. When there's a woman, alcohol, a loss of control, Philip Spector pulls a gun. And in those other incidents, you can almost think about it mentally like they got away with their lives, almost like the gun just didn't go off, like a click, an empty chamber.
There have been many a rumor that Killer Karen Read has committed violent acts against previous ex-boyfriends. Now, these reports are unverified. But interestingly, we've never heard from any of her exes publicly speaking out saying she would have never done this. She is just not capable. Now, I myself, I have several exes who would absolutely do that for me if I was in a position as you all claim she is in. Also of note, we've never heard from her sister. She's never once publicly supported her sister, in or out of court. Though the domestic violence reports have not been verified, we did find a report of an incident involving her neighbor in Mansfield. You see, Killer Karen Read has rage issues, as demonstrated in this police report. And according to many who knew her, they intensified when alcohol got involved. November 22nd, 2020. Killer Karen's neighbor, who had children, you see, they were mowing their lawn and doing house chores. And while they did that, they had their dog tied up to a tree outside so that he could play. They did not hear their dog when he began to bark, but only 5 minutes had passed when they did hear him. According to the incident report, the neighbor said Read came outside and began screaming and yelling at her over the dog barking. The neighbor tried to apologize and explain, but Killer Karen did not care. She said, "Wait and see. You'll be sorry." The neighbor explained to the officer that this was a repeated, ongoing issue with Killer Karen. After taking down notes from the neighbor, Officer Fitzgerald went to go speak with Killer Karen. But just as she always does with law enforcement, she locked her door and hid inside, refusing to speak.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Yeah, it's 1 a.m. I'm with your f***ing niece and nephew. You f***ing pervert. You're a f***ing pervert. You are using me right now. You're f***ing another girl sleeping next to me. You're a f***ing loser. F*** yourself.
You can hear just how angry Karen Read was, but as they were played, Karen Read was just paying close attention and not really showing any emotion.
Karen Read's defense team claims she's being framed.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
It's like, fuck you, you piece of shit. You know, like, you're not going to defeat me. Like, you're not going, fuck you. This is war. Like, that's the kind of vibe that she gave off to the O'Keefe family. Like, fuck you. She hates the O'Keefes more than anyone. Let me tell you, from somebody who's had a lot of conversations with Karen Read, he fucking hates the O'Keefes.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Let's talk about Kaylee as it relates to the infliction of emotional distress. Should defendant Karen Read have known that emotional distress was the likely result of her conduct? Was defendant's conduct extreme and outrageous? Those are the questions that ultimately we pose to a jury. Kaylee was young, 14 years old. The defendant had a relationship with her, knew she was emotionally fragile, knew she was orphaned at the age of 6, knew that she lost both parents tragically. The defendant assumed the pseudo-parental role with Kaylee for nearly up to 2 years. The defendant, Ms. Read, knows that she knocked JJ down. It's in the middle of the night. She wakes up Kaylee abruptly. She talks about JJ being dead, being struck by a plow, being struck by a vehicle. Mind you, this is all hours before anybody has even discovered his body, and she is now actively talking about him being dead.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Then, after creating this chaotic, upsetting situation in this young, fragile girl's psyche, she leaves her. She leaves her home alone, shocked and frightened. Compound that by defendant's choice to speak her false narrative publicly, to use social media, to leak public information through Turtle Boy, to control that narrative. Why is Turtle Boy out there saying the O'Keefe's family period of grief has expired and they are now fair game? Who leaked the autopsy photos that got published by Turtle Boy for this vulnerable family to have to be exposed to that they weren't seen before? To the extent that the defendant argues that this is not extreme and outrageous, remember the law. It is the jury's role to decide whether the defendant's conduct was rude and clumsy or extreme and outrageous.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
I think we're a little offensive during the criminal trial. I think we're a little offensive during the criminal trial. I think we're a little offensive during the criminal trial.
How does that work?
I need a fullback.
Okay, hang on. Y'all didn't even let her get a blocking.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Yeah, they proved that body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Trying to affect the jury pool. We are guilty. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm. To conflict all these potential jurors. You like that, Adam Lowry? You like that, Michael Morrissey? We are getting to your potential jury pool. You told us to stop because we're too effective, but we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
Fuck you. She hates the O'Keefes more than anyone. Let me tell you, from somebody who's had a lot of conversations with Karen Read, she fucking hates the O'Keefes.
You don't get a free pass. When you engage in conduct that's so inherently dangerous, and you know it's dangerous, and it costs someone their life, that's second-degree murder.
When she came back for the last word, in the darkness, the beginning of the snow, under the influence of alcohol, and decided to stop her Lexus, decided to put it in reverse, decided to accelerate 75% in the exact same direction of where she left him, and then hit him, and he died. I suggest to you that is second-degree murder.
Killer Karen was drunk. She hit him, and she left him to die, alone and freezing, mere feet away from a warm house and his loving friends.
When people show you who you are, you need to eliminate them from your lives.
This is just a small sample of text messages that Killer Karen Read sent to Turtle Boy. She's in the blue. Can you tell him that Laura Sullivan is not a friendly? She testified against me. She's the fat ass in blue crying in court while Jen McCabe rubs her back. That's my beach bag in front of that pig. John's family sucks. Please tell TB he will get all the credit from my camp when this blows up and when I talk to Dateline next. The happiest murder defendant in America, folks. To be clear, these were sent to Natalie, the intermediary. That's why it's saying, please tell TB. Something that Michael Proctor was not allowed to speak on publicly, obviously, was that when he was initially going through her phone, he ran into something in her phone that made him realize he needed to get a taint team involved to go through her phone. Well, this was a text that he saw. Now, this completely, there's no way to negate this if it were able to be brought in. Obviously, it's not. It's lawyer client confidentiality. But this is what he saw. And this is why Killer Karen Read and Alan Jackson and David Yannetti and Turtle Boy annihilated his life, stole his livelihood from him, because he saw the text that said, I didn't think I hit him that hard. She knows she hit him, folks. She knows she did. She's been lying to you and terrorizing the lives of John's family friends, and his community for 3 years. As if murder isn't bad enough, think about that for a minute. Just think about the evil that must be inside of a person to do what she has done to that community. And the same applies to Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, and Turtle Boy. And most, if not all, of her social media mongers. Evil. Nobody plays the victim better than the person who caused the damage. They are master manipulators, master gaslighters, and masters at Darvo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please look it up. The acronym stands for Defend, Attack, Reverse Victim and Offender, which is what they have been doing from the beginning. Every single thing that they say about other people is exactly what they are doing. They have been telegraphing it the entire time. The entire time. Nothing that they have done hasn't been planned. Right, Alan Jackson? You sick fuck. Dear Killer Karen Read and Alan Jackson, we know you have and continue to harass and terrorize John's family, friends, and community to obfuscate justice for his murder. You want sunshine? You're gonna get sunshine. So again, when people show you who they are, take note, and the nasty ones, eliminate them from your life. Stay safe. Love and light.